Georgia tomorrow. We are still meeting up tomorrow. We're still meeting up at 3. The location has changed. All right. So if you want to change the location, you should have got a text or email, right? You should have got something to tell you where the location is that has changed. So hopefully, please, ma'am, please, sir, you'll take that into account. We'll still be providing fruit and water. If you're going to need anything else outside of that, we're asking that you come prepared with that yourself. It's going to be close to the sun. Those who are down south, I'm sorry, it's going to be a little further away from you. We had to change the location once I found out a few more details about said, and we've actually had some issues with that location in times past. So if you were doing the meetup tomorrow in Georgia, I'll try to make sure I say it again tomorrow when we get on the live session. That's why one of the reasons I'm running late is I was trying to text everybody and let everybody know in advance that we're going to have to switch things up and change things up just a little bit. So it's actually a really nice location anyways. We've been there. I think I've shared with you guys some of the stuff that we've seen there before. But if you've never been there, it's going to be really nice. I'll say the location tomorrow. I cannot say it right now, but if you're coming, we just want to make sure that you're aware that the location has changed. It's still more central Georgia. It's now, actually, I still say it's pretty central Georgia. I'll say it's in the Macon, Georgia area. But we tried to keep it down there. But because of certain things that we know of that are in the area that my wife brought to my attention, it would be irresponsible for us to have the type of meetup that we're going to have down there. So just wanted to make sure everybody is aware of that. If you're coming to meet us in the Georgia area, please be aware of that. All right. But thank you guys for being on. I appreciate you so very much. As always, this is Pastor Kofi, Pastor Servant to Christ. We are always changing lives one mind at a time, but being a voice of the voiceless and speaking the unspoken. We appreciate your presence. We give all honor and praise to the Most High. We give all praise and honor to Him for my wife, the Honorable Maya, who lives a life that's able to be honored. You can check her out on TikTok, YouTube, her website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish. Not A-N-D, the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. She is a healer, herbalist, chemist, and biologist by degree. For those that need that extra info on there, all right. We thank you so very, very much. And tonight, as is apropos, the Holy Spirit has given us a message. And I thought it would actually be clear tonight. It was supposed to be really rainy yesterday. Holy Spirit gave us a message for today. The message is, let your love rain down. Let your love rain down. I don't know if there's going to be too much exegetical format tonight. In other words, the stereotypical line upon line, precept upon precept that you might think of with myself, or maybe you don't. I don't know. But tonight I just wanted to tell you that Yahweh, He wants to let His rain fall down. And the message I was given through Havak HaKodash for tonight is let your love rain down. Now, let your love rain down. That first word is important because that's permission. Yahweh always wants His love to rain down. If you didn't know, I would think that many of us would be aware of that. He always wants our love to rain down, right? But you have to let it. Right? The Bible declares that because you are evil, it will not rain. You have to let it. You have to let it rain down. It needs to rain down. You have to provide space and area for it to rain down. Matter of fact, the Bible declares that because there was no man, there was no rain, because there was no man to manage the grounds. Let your love rain down. Do you know there's qualifications as far as the Bible is concerned to let it rain? When Israel was in the wilderness, quail would rain down. Whatever you need, whatever kind of love you need, it'll rain down. Water might rain down or even come out of a rock. Manna, meaning what is it, and also was a type of bread, would rain down. Manach, even when you break down the characters, mim, nan, che, literally meaning the water, blood, and spirit that rains down, right? The mim, the water, blood, and spirit, the water comes down, and it's perfect, and it comes through the Holy Spirit, right? Or even the manna, right? Which is actually, I'm sorry, I said it wrong. Manah, not manach. Excuse me, that's a different word. Manah, which is mem nun aleph. Excuse me, right? Mem, the water, blood, and spirit. The water rains down. The nun is perfected, and the aleph is the Father. The Father gives you perfect bread that rains down, right? Let your love rain down. Hallelujah, right? We sing songs like that. Rain on us, breathe on us, shower down, right? All that stuff. It is something that's going to rain, right? But the word says that if you're not careful, because you are evil, it will not rain. And thank you for the love. Appreciate it. And hello to everybody. I'm sorry I didn't say hello earlier. I was trying to send out that text to make sure everybody for the meetup had the right coordinates and everything. And I was out of pocket. I apologize, right? How you doing, Sister Moselle? How you doing, Sister Consuela, I believe, right? Consuela, Stephen, Juanetta, Minister Samaya LaRae, Sister Nadine, Sister Nakur, Big Brother Thomas, Minister Shantae, Joseph, Darius, Nacho Fries, all right. Minister Shirley, Sister Irena, everybody, Sister Sherry, Sister Monica, Zahara, thank y'all for the love, by the way. Appreciate y'all. Stella, Sister Mignon, everybody, right? Let your love rain down. How you doing, Sister Tori? Tonight, let your love rain down. Let requires us to, to start thinking of, have we allowed it? Right? How you doing, Monica? Have you allowed it? Let your love rain down is what we're talking about tonight. Have you allowed his love to rain down? Right? He wants to reign, REIGN, in your life, but he needs first for you to allow it. Now, wait a minute. He's Yah. He can do whatever he wants, but he cannot, because he shall not, because he cannot lie. Therefore, he shall not, he cannot violate your free will. He will not violate your free will. Will you allow his love to rain down? Let your love rain down. Will you allow his love to rain down? Let your love rain down. Will you allow his love to rain down? Shalom, how you doing, sis? Will you allow it to? Let me help you with something real quick. There are so many brothers and sisters who keep talking about, I've gone through church hurt, camp hurt, family hurt, just hurt, self-inflictions, all these things. How you doing, Sister Judith? And thank you for love. How you doing, servant of Yah? All these people we're talking about, I go through so many things. All right, how you doing, Sister Deborah? And Shabbat Shalom to everybody too, by the way. Thank you for that. Right? I've gone through so much hell and so much frustration and so much anger and so much this and so much that, right? Have you ever let the love of Yah come into your life and give you the hug that maybe you never had, or give you the father that you never had, or give you the talking to, the discipline that you've never had? I'm talking about tonight. Let your love rain down. Yeah, let your love rain down. Yeah, let your love rain down on your people right now. Not just the ones who are in earshot, but all of Yahshua. However, we must let it. He wants to let it, but he cannot violate your free will. And some of us are hurting because we still haven't opened up to Yah. How you doing, Brother Ali? Let, right? Just for educational purposes only. And forgive me if I'm being too, too violent with what I'm saying. And hold on, if you're on TikTok, forgive me just 1 second, right? Oh, wow. Okay, sorry, yo. All right. I went and paused. I went and did all that, and then what I was trying to get done isn't working anyway. So, oh well. Let's see. Once we get everybody back on, forgive me. Right? Let your love. Right? Sorry to be graphic. What I was saying before we got interrupted. Sorry about that. Sorry to be graphic. Right? This is for educational purposes only. Trigger warning for some of you. If you've ever heard of bloodletting, right? Somebody might cut into you for to let blood drain out of you for different reasons, prayerfully medical reasons. And if they do this, right, if they do this bloodletting, right, you've chosen, hopefully, to allow blood to flow, right? Allow blood to even be, in a sense, sacrifice. Obviously, we're not the sacrifice that Yahshua is. How you doing, Minister Tamara? But you have to let it. It has to come out, right? Will you let Yah into your life? Have you asked Yah to love you, to let his love rain down in the area? See, when rain comes down, rain gets in all the crevices. Rain goes down into the ground. Rain goes and washes away things in the cracked street. Rain goes into those holes that you thought were filled into your house. You want to know somebody's house is doing well or not, or if it's sealed, let it rain really hard. Right? And thank you for sharing live. How you doing, Sister Priscilla? Right? So have you let your love rain down? Not just rain down, but have you allowed it to? Have you ever thought to yourself in the deep recesses of thought when nobody's there and you're having your quiet time? Not just quiet time with Yah, but even sometimes quiet time with yourself. Have you asked yourself, have you ever said, self, have we really healed from that? How you doing, Strauss? Did we ever take time out to really heal from that? Like that was life altering right there. And I know we survived it and we praise Yah and we wouldn't have came out without him. But once we go past this and we look at it and we make it so mystical and all this stuff, can we come down for a practical second? Did you ever mourn so you could be comforted? Right? I mean, questions we should probably ask ourselves. Let your love rain down. Did we ever allow Yah to really work that out? See, watch this. Some people have stress levels that are still there. Some people's bodies break down. You eat all the food you're supposed to. You go to the gym. You're still falling apart. You're like, how am I falling apart? I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. And you haven't even been able to digest food because for 20 years, you've never even dealt with the fact that you're still stressed. How you doing, Minister Shante? If I didn't say so already. You hear what I'm saying? You might be having issues. It's amazing how many of us I've been talking to, and all of us are going through like similar issues as far as stress issues. And I'm like, hey, this sounds like, and even talking to my wife, for everybody's popping up, hey, it sounds like kidney issues, sounds like renal gland issues. Those are things that happen when you've been stressed for so long and have never actually taken time out to let Yah's love rain down, to get healing in that area. How you doing, Sister Sheena? Right? These are things that we don't think about, right? That there are people who are still feeling attacked from something that happened years ago. Somebody's buried in the grave and you still fighting with that person, although that person's gone. And thank you for the love. Appreciate it. Right? You're still fighting. Person's gone. Person long gone. How you doing, Sister Gertrude? Right? That issue is done with. That payment is paid. But I still never took time out to say, did Yah love me in that area? Or am I still just moving and I'm not loved? Do I still get stressed out when somebody brings up somebody's name? Somebody accidentally calls you your name, your name during marriage, and not your maiden name you went back to. Does it freak you out a little bit still? Because somebody met you when you were so-and-so, but now you've gone back to being so-and-so. And so even that's an honest mistake somebody can make, but that honest mistake makes you go, oh no, not that name. I speak against that in the name of Jesus. In the name of Yahshua, in the name of Yeshua, in the name of that, you start getting into all this stuff where you start going into these high places and speaking against it. And somebody's like, okay, all right. They laugh with you, but on the inside, they're like, you ain't let go. You haven't been loved in that area. Yeah, that the person learned to forgive that person that hurt them. Yeah. And watch this. If you're praying, isn't that part of the commandment for your prayer when you make your petition made known? How you doing, Sister Patricia? But I didn't say so already. Isn't that part of what making your petition, your prayer? Forgive. Right? Forgive us of our debts as we forgive our debtors. Forgive us of our trespasses. We forgive those who trespass against us. And after Yahshua finishes the prayer, he goes right back into forgiveness. We go Matthew chapter 6, verses 9 through 13. But verses 14 and 15, after he finishes what we affectionately call the Lord's Prayer, and after he's told us in this manner is how you should pray, he goes right back and says, hey, don't forget about forgiveness again. Right? And you might need to be loved in that area. Your years past it, but you're still in it because you never had love in that area. One of the reasons for the sisters that are not married, but want to be married or want to be married again or whatever the case, one of the reasons why we need to get sisters to actually become Jehovah's wife, right, is because there's a purity there and there's a love that's there, and he's going to love you in the areas that your ex-husband, your exes, your whatever, he's going to love you in the areas that you've never been loved. Sure, somebody loved you in the bedroom, but right, but he's going to love you in the areas that you might not have been massaged in, those spiritual places, those places that you're in the middle of the night that your spouse couldn't have done anything for you anyways, other than maybe give you a hug and tell you it was going to be all right. And I know that's all you need, but he could touch your heart. He could touch your heart, right? Like there's an area that you got to be loved in. Right. This is why we got to take it seriously when we keep talking about our leadership and those who lead over the environment, and those of you who are leaders in your own environments, in your own homes. And we have to start taking seriously, because there are a lot of people who have never been loved in certain places. And so they've gotten past certain places, but never been loved there. Tonight we say, y'all, let your love rain down. Yeah, I'm tired of still living with the pain of 20 years ago, but having to smile like everything's been all right for 20 years. And everybody was so busy telling me, how you doing, Sister Deja? Everybody was so busy telling me that you made it through, and look at you, and you were so strong, and you didn't cry, and I can't believe that you made it through. And here you are realizing years, decades later, that the strength wasn't in keeping it together. The strength, right? That was for y'all, but I needed to be loved in the area, and everybody was so busy admiring that I was being awesome. Nobody ever thought about, was I being loved? How you doing, Renaissance? I feel it in this place tonight. This might not be a word for everybody tonight. This might not be line upon line, precept upon precept, the way that you think it needs to be. I'm trying to tell you tonight, there's somebody that needs to be loved. You might need to be the person that needs to be loved. And tonight I've been sent on a mission, given a word to ensure that you feel love. At least realize you need love. Now I could say, I love you, and prayerfully that would mean a lot to you, but I'm here to tell you that Yah loves you, but he's asking you tonight, will you let his love rain down on you? Everybody's been so busy saying, man, you were able to do this with your children. I couldn't even imagine what you had to do. And you said, oh yeah, I hung in there. But but you still not loved in that area. How you doing? Y'all too strong. Right? Hey, I can't believe that you were able to do this with your children, and your children are falling apart, and it's hurting you on the inside. But all you do is come out, praise Yah. Yah's in control. I just trust in him. I'm just doing. You can't talk to your family members like you used to talk to them, but I'm just hanging in there. I'm just progressing. I'm just doing what. But maybe you haven't been touched with love yet. See, some of the people. May I say something to you? How you doing, Sister Keita? May I say something to you tonight? Some of the things and the people and the places and the titles and all the stuff that's being removed from your life, some of the money that's being removed from your life, some of the things that you thought was going to be your career that's being removed, is because that you need to be loved. You've been so busy chasing the career that you haven't even chased love, or love hasn't had a chance to chase you. For surely his righteousness and his mercy, his grace and his mercy, who he is and his mercy, shall follow me. I'm not following it. It should follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. All these blessings shall come upon thee, and they shall overtake thee. But you don't feel overtaken because you're still chasing things. You're the ATM machine that keeps knocking on everybody's door, asking them if they need money, not realizing that you should be staying in the same place. And one of the things that people should be depositing into you is love. And a lot of us haven't felt it. As a matter of fact, some of us haven't felt love in so long that, and I praise Yah, that some of you told me this, that when we've said some of the things, some of you are saying that some of this stuff is like really new, or at least it's inspiring, or it's great, and you've never heard it. But the reality is it's sometimes when I hear it, may I be honest, I'm excited, I'm joyful, but then sometimes I have to pray and ask y'all to love me in a place, because it really hurts me to know that there are men who don't know what it is to have the love of a father. There are men who don't know what it is to have the love of a mother. There are men who don't know what it is to have the love of their self. Men who don't know what it is to have the love of a wife. They've been married but haven't had the love of a wife. Somebody caught that, right? There are women who have not had the love of a father. There are women who have not had the love of a mother, have not had the love of a husband, have not had the love of a friend, have not. There are people who have not had the love of a confidant. There are people who have had children and have not had the love of a child. There are people who have had parents and have not had the love of a parent. How you doing, Sister Nadine? And tonight, Yah says, are you ready to set some time aside to be loved in the places that have never been touched? To allow the rain to go through the soil. You know, rain underneath the earth, there are reservoirs of water, not only because there's oceans and things, but also because there's rain that flows down and it goes into the ground. And not all of the water is sapped up or soaked up or ate by the trees. And so the water that is not ate automatically by the trees and makes its way down, it gets into these places and reservoirs, and it's able to cleanse even the deepest of places that you might have to get a well to get to, but it's cleaner because it's deeper. And Yah wants to clean up the places that are deeper, but you have to let it rain down. How you doing, Sister Amy? If I didn't say so already, I'm asking for you tonight, will you let it rain down? Will you allow it to rain? It said, because you were evil. This is what the word said. Because you were evil, it will not rain. Could it be possible that we are allowing the evil, not just the evil of the world, but the evil, the sin of not addressing hurt truthfully? Could it be possible that we're not being honest? Is being dishonest a lie? Is being dishonest a sin? Watch this. Peel your veneers off today. Take your peel your church face off. Peel your can't face off. Peel your face that's never cried a tear, and let people see the tear run down the makeup tonight. I'm talking about virtually. Nobody gonna see it for real. But I'm asking for you to take off that armor that you keep on, that you think is supposed to be something that covers your face. Yeah, helmet of salvation. But sometimes you got to let Yah see your face. You got to take the armor off. You got to take the veil off and lift it back up, because Yah's trying to reach out and wipe your tear. He wants to wipe every tear from your eye. But we're not even honest about the tears that we have. Will you let his love rain down? Will you allow? Yah, Ravak HaKodash today is asking the question, will you allow the love of the Father to permeate every area of your life, including those places that you've been broken? Everybody says, I want to have a broken spirit and a contrite heart. Okay, well, the places that are broken, at some point, they've got to be put back together. They've got to be salvaged. That's what working out your own salvation is. And here you are talking about, I'm saved, but are not working on salvaging yourself, because you cannot be honest about being broken. You are not being honest about being broken. How you doing, Spike Me? How you doing, Child of Yashadachla? How you doing again, Minister Tamara? Right? Is it once again, is dishonesty a sin? I'm sorry. I should have said bring your Kleenexes tonight. Some of you might need it because you have never used them before, right? Or these are Kleenexes, whatever these are, right? Bring your tissues tonight. I should have told you to bring them, because I want you to be honest with yourself. I want you to look, a lot of y'all are in a room right now and nobody's watching you. And even if they are, you might still need to do this. I'm trying to tell you, that thing that's been bothering you for years, will you let the love of Yah rain down on it tonight? It's bothering me that I've been married for this many years and I still don't know my spouse's love languages, and they don't know mine. It's all right. Now let's admit that we need his love there. Separated from Yah's sin. Yep, because sin Yeah, separates us from Yah. Sin also is missing the mark, right? Which separates us from Yah. So if we're being dishonest, that separates us from Yah. So let's stop separating ourselves from the love of Yah, right? What can separate us from the love of Yah? Is that pain that you're going through? Should it be separating you? Is that frustration? Is that hell that you're going through? You said you mean like racism. I mean, if we want to go ahead and say racism, if racism has got us to the point to where we hate people, then should be allowed it to separate us. Or if racism has hurt us and we can't look at somebody because of the color of their skin, and therefore everybody who carries the color of the skin of that person who's done us wrong, then sure, that could be something. Most definitely. Right. But where is that place that you need y'all to touch your heart? Watch this. Has he been able to love you in your who this is for is who this is for. Has he been able, like I had to look in the mirror and have this said to me too. Has he been able to love you in your lust? Wait a minute, he can't love me. No. I need to realize and say, yeah, I have a lust issue and I repent, but I got to give this and put it on the altar to you. Can you love me? Can you forgive me and then love me in the area that I had lust in? Can you fill that hole that I'm trying to get rid of this lust? Uh-oh. Can you fill the hole where, watch this. I know nobody ever wants to admit this. You were the one that cheated. You were the one that lied. You don't have to raise your hand. You don't have to admit it. This is between you and Yah, right? But see, you're so busy, you can't tell anybody. See, some of you can't preach the word, right? Because you can't be open enough to admit that you made a mistake yourself. Some of you will never be able to admit that, hey, you were the problem. Oh, well, I never laid down in the bedroom with anybody else. The Bible declares that if you commit fornication or adultery in your heart, it's already committed. Yah, can you love me? See, this is what I love. See, because the love of Yah not only covers sin, he loves us past our sin. See, and that's why it's got to be Yah's love. There's some stuff that if I told you about, like some stuff that I've really, even if it's stuff that's false about me, but just the fact that my name was involved with it, some of you would not be able to love me past it. But Yah will always love me past it. He helped me past it. He helped me past it. I still got some things I'm hurting from, but he's helping me along the way. I've got family members that it still crushes me what they've said or done about me. I've got church hurt that still pops up in my mind every once in a while and makes me want to go running somewhere and hide somewhere and scream and cry or text or call somebody and want to cuss them out. But he's loved me enough in that area. See, some of the people that you're married to or you're thinking about marrying to, or when you get married down the road, you need to ask people what areas that they're in, because you still gonna get with them, but you need to remember that you need to know what you're up against, not even up against, but watch this, what you're gonna walk with, because you're gonna have to love them past it. Why is so-and-so yelling? Why is so-and-so screaming? Why is so-and-so always getting on me about that? Why is she raising her voice? Do you know that she might not have ever been loved past that? She ever said something to you like, man, nope, nobody talked to me like that. Even my daddy ain't talked to me like that. Nobody talked to me like that. My mama don't talk to me like that. Nobody talked to me like that. My daddy wasn't even in my life, and I still made it. And here I am. So you ain't my daddy, and my daddy wasn't even there. So I don't need nobody to tell me nothing. She hasn't been loved in that area. Are you ready for that? Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Instead of saying every reason why you're ready to leave her and say why every other diaspora has women that are better than your women, are you ready to love your woman past it? Are you ready for that? See, they need to be honest and put everything on the table, but you need to be honest and say to yourself, am I even capable of loving them past that? There's somebody who never had a physical father in their life. They have a physical father, but he was not involved in their life. Here you come talking about being a spiritual father. Are you ready for what comes with that? Because they don't think they need it. They never had it. And if you never had a physical father who was involved in your life, and therefore the spiritual father that you had, or some of you had spiritual fathers that were trash too, but if you had spiritual fathers, they were never your physical father. Now here comes somebody you're marrying, and he's supposed to be a spiritual father, be a priest and a prophet of his own home. He's supposed to make sure that he can pastor family, lead a Bible study, and all these different things, right? But he's trying to do some things that are righteous, and you can't see it and therefore receive it. Why? Because you haven't been loved in that area. He's going to love you past that area. Brothers, You've had sisters who have abused you, have said all types of stuff about you, who talk bad about you, who would bring up your past every second, who you would share your heart with, and then as soon as y'all got in an argument, they would use it against you. And now here comes a wife, and you found a wife. You found a righteous thing that will help you to obtain favor from Adon, from the Lord, from Yahweh, from the Most High, Yah, right? And she's ready to speak words over you to make sure that she doesn't speak death over you, but speaks life over you, and it's going to help you in your journey. But all she does is says something similar to what you used to be. Or she said you might need to improve something. And here you are getting mad with her, but she's supposed to love you past your sin. She's going to help you to become better and to become greater. Are you ready for that? Are you honest enough to say that you have a problem? Just because you're the husband, just because I be the pappy, doesn't mean that mama don't need to tell me sometimes I need to be better. Just because you be the mama don't mean that pappy need to tell you sometimes get yourself in order, right? And I'm not saying always say it with a finger in your mouth. Sometimes you got or finger towards them. Sometimes you have to say it with some love. Sometimes you might have to grab them by the face and tell them how much you love. You might have to give them a kiss. Baby, I about you. You know I'm down with you. I thank you for everything you've done. But there's one thing I have against it that I would love to see you be better in, and it would help me to be able to serve you that much better. See, but you're not ready to love somebody past the sin and to recognize it, to tell them I've seen it. I've been with you in spite of it. I'm not going anywhere just because you have it. See, because many of us are afraid to reveal sin, especially in the culture that we're in nowadays, where people are in social media culture more so than in their own culture. And in social media, all we do is build people up to tear you down. And the only way we'll let you survive is if you have enough views, if you have enough money, or if you made enough music. R. Kelly is going to be remembered for great music, even though what he did to those girls, because he's going to be forgiven. I didn't say you going to forgive. He's going to be forgiven overall. Right? Jay-Z was messing around with Aaliyah. He's going to be forgiven. He called himself Jehovah. Why? Because he makes money, he makes music, he gets views. And even if he does things that are detrimental to our society, who cares? Because he's Jay-Z, right? Right? You live, but there are some of you where you get up to 200,000 followers, you get up to 1 million subscribers and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden you do one thing wrong, and what? Cancel culture shows up. Get rid of them. How you doing, Shabbat Shalom, Sister Aliens? How you doing, Sydney? Cancel culture. Get rid of them. We don't want anything to do with them. Foxy Brown, yeah. There's so many of them, right? That we're ready to cancel. They can't do anything. We cancel them. We build them up. And then as soon as they get built up, now we're waiting to say why they're wrong, why they messed up. We're waiting for them to make a mistake, right? I promise you, I live my life. First of all, I live my life in a way to where I'm not really stressed too much about that. But I'm not popular, but I do know what it is to have some level of popularity where I go certain places and I can be in different places in the country, different places in the world. And somebody will say, I know you. Even if they don't know sometimes outright, oh, wow, Pastor Kofi. Some people literally pulling the car over. You. I've had a little bit of that, right, experience. It's kind of weird. It's kind of odd, to be honest with you. It's a little frustrating at times. It doesn't happen that often, praise y'all. I'm just saying when it happens, it's actually pretty scary. But what I'm trying to say is I know that there's people who watch this, who are part of this, and part of the fascination with what's being said has nothing to even do with the truth. They are looking for me to fall. They're looking to say, oh, see, he's just like the other ones. I know people are tuning into me talking about marriage because they're waiting for me to be the next Derrick Jackson. I know it. It's not going to happen. But they're waiting to see my wife with a war bonnet on. I know that's why some people are watching. Some people are looking. Some people are paying attention. I know that's why some people are listening and paying attention and looking at what they're looking at. How you doing, Fatale? How you doing, love? Thank you for being on tonight. Thank you for the love. Appreciate it. Right. I know there's somebody out there waiting. To be like, wait a minute. He treated Solomon like this and that. And here he had him on the live sessions, and he was kissing him on his forehead, and he was messing with his hair, and he was doing all that. But I know there's people doing that, right? But I'm here to tell you, right, that even in those areas where there's hurt and there's pain and there's frustration, and I'm weary of those things, y'all let your love rain down. Some people say, why are you so open, Kofi? You seem to be open a lot about certain things. I need him to heal the broken places. There's certain things that's not your business, right? If it was just about me, I'd tell you everything. But there's certain things to protect my family is not people's business, right? And certain things to protect SOC is not people's business, so I have to be careful about that, right? But I don't mind being as open as possible. Why? Because you got to let your love rain down. I need that love. I need that love that shows up at 12:45 when somebody's told me something, and I did 3 life coaching sessions that day, and 2 out of the 3 told me something that was really hard, and I didn't and I made it through, and I was nice, and I thought, hey, everything's fine. And when I wake up at 12:45 in the night, and I'm sitting there crying, and I'm trying to figure out what happened, and I realize I still got that spirit on me because I prayed for the person, and I got this spirit on me now because I've interceded, and therefore I've stood in the gap, and everything that was supposed to get to that person, not everything, but some of the things that should have got to the person are now on me, and that's what a shepherd should be. But now here I am going through some stuff, and I'm in tears, and Yah shows up, and he spends some time with me. My wife has seen her husband almost since we got married, has seen her husband in the middle of the night with worship music on, crying, saying, baby, what's going on? Now is interested. Y'all would think this is not. Now I'll be like, okay, you all right? You all right? Okay, she might give me a quick hug, and then she gonna go back to sleep. You know why? Because she knows that her husband's in a place to where Yah's loving on him. Ain't no shade towards me. Ain't no she means me harm or ill will. So I need some love right there. Yeah, let your love rain down tonight. But it's once again, will you let it? Will you let yourself have some time for his love to rain down? What is that thing that you've been carrying? Don't put it in the chat if you don't feel led to, right? I'm not asking put in the chat. How you doing, Cream? Right? How you doing, Teflon? How you doing, Jan? I just want you to. This is a personal question. If you want to put it out there, you put it out there. We'll touch and agree in prayer or whatever. But that's not what I'm really asking for. This is a personal question. What is that thing that if you were to be honest, how many of you are still dealing with that SA that happened when you were 5 years old, 6 years old, male or female? If you don't know what SA is, I'll say it one time, but I won't keep saying it because we get in trouble when we mention these words, right? Those who have been sexually assaulted, SA. Who is that person that's dealing with SA? And you still sometimes ask yourself, why do you have certain feelings and you carry certain things because somebody took away your innocence? Or did you do something to lead that person on? You was a little child. You hear what I'm saying? You were a little child. You were a little child. It wasn't even anything that you did, but somebody did that to you. Somebody planted a seed. Who was that person that was being groomed and maybe it was never messed with physically, but you saw things you weren't supposed to see? Who was that brother or sister that's still dealing with the fact that you went from watching National Geographic to reading the magazines to all of a sudden seeing the videos to then seeing if you could see some other parts of them, and then that puberty kicked in and now it's become a problem for the rest of your life? I say about males at age 4. See it? And I'm just saying, who this is stuff that, and you carrying it with it yourself still. Childhood trauma. Remember we talked about nostalgic trauma? Just because it's nostalgic doesn't mean it's not traumatic. And certain things pop up in your life and you bring this stuff back up and you're like, where did this spirit even come from? But I was never loved in that area. Some of you grew up in situations, what happens in this house? Y'all can finish it for me. You finish it for me. Some of you grew up in families where they said, what happens in this house? One of the worst things that you could do to a child. Yeah. What happens in this house stays in this house. Do you not know that my family's falling apart, that I have wickedness all around me, but I've got to go to church and I've got to say what happened. And I've been told before I go to church, hey, you don't talk about what Junior did. You don't talk about what so-and-so did. You don't talk about what Uncle so-and-so did. Why? Because what happens in this house, that means what happens in this family, it stays in this family. It ain't nobody's business, but it's hurting me. It's causing me to make marks on my arm. This is not natural behavior. It's causing me to cry in the middle of the night. It's causing me to it's causing children at an alarming rate to try and unalive themselves. But tonight we say, let your love rain down. Let it. We allow it tonight. How you doing, Big Roy? Who allows it tonight? Be honest tonight. You're so busy not mourning and then trying to figure out why you're not comfortable. But those who mourn shall be comforted. Tell the truth. Those who hunger and thirst after righteousness, they shall be filled. But you haven't even mourned yet to be comforted. Blessed are the poor in spirit. You've been feeling poor. Something been off. You haven't been getting yourself together. But the kingdom of heaven belongs to you. Tonight is the night. Humble yourself, for the meek shall inherit the earth. Tonight is the night. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see the Most High Yah. And even if somebody criticizes you and makes fun of you tonight, blessed are you when they revile you and say all manner of evil against you in the name of Yahushua. Why? For they did the same to the prophets that came before you. And therefore, when they do it, rejoice and be exceeding glad. Be at another level than glad. But first mourn, or at least admit that you have an area that you need to be loved in. I'm not going to out anybody, but I'm not a fool, and I'm led by the Spirit. I'm not always that guy that can just be like, I see this in you, I see this in you, as what you think prophets are, right? But, or the only thing we think prophets can do. But hear what I'm saying. I'm not a fool. There are people here that deal with homosexuality. Some of you told me, right? But I'm not a fool. Some of you still dealing with homosexuality and trying to figure out why your marriage doesn't work. Tonight is a night